Hello, Merry Christmas! This is our Christmas episode. It is technically a Christmas episode that's going to go out on YouTube. Are you feeling Christmassy?
Not that Christmassy at the moment, Kev.
Oh, okay, well take a look at this.
Not feeling Christmassy enough? Firstly, find a local Santa and extract his Christmas cheer. Once this is complete, ensure this is an authentic Christmas Santa and not one of those awful elitist, liberal windfall demons using a Molson transmogrifier. The next stage requires great care. Carefully obtain an elf's hat. This particular hat has been soaked in flying reindeer urine. Cover the Christmas cheer with the soggy elf garment. Now use a microphonication unit to ensure that your Christmas essence is fully personified. All that is left is to turn it up to 11.
You feeling more Christmassy now?
Yeah.
I won't try and turn around because I think my beard will be damaged.
That was a very successful experiment.
Yeah. So, what are we doing?
We're continuing our reviews of the Michael Jackson albums. And last week we did Thriller.
Which is
an enormous success.
Yes.
As I'm sure you'll all agree. And this week we're going to do Bad.
Bad. Yeah. This is the follow-up to Thriller, so this was like one of the most
anticipated.
Yeah, the most anticipated albums of all time. I mean, expectation is a prison, and obviously that was a problem because it doesn't matter how good it is, it doesn't matter what it is. People will have in their minds what it's supposed to be already, and I think I kind of remember people being disappointed.
Yeah, I think so. Although in retrospect, I think it's a better album than Thriller.
Well, this is the thing, is that at the time, I can imagine him being so chuffed with this album, feeling like he's made an absolute killer, better than Thriller. The 80s production, Thriller has 80s production as well, but you find the sort of early 80s stuff that sounds very 80s and horrible keyboardy, and horrible drum machines. It's like that became the accepted thing, so the late 80s technology stuff sounds much worse.
He was expecting some astronomical sales from this.
Yeah.
We're talking more than Thriller.
Yeah.
By a third, you reckon.
And it wasn't. But it was absolutely huge. However however it is musically, the sound of it, just the 80s texture of the sound is just abhorrent to me. I can't get past it. To hear the good songs, and there are good songs, and in many ways it is a superior album. There's probably more better melodies on it than Thriller.
Well, the fillers are not so fillery.
And there's less of them.
Yeah, the fillers are a lot better. 9 singles out of 11 songs.
And a lot of the songs I know already, whereas Thriller, I think it's only 3 songs. Yeah. On here there's like 6 or 7 I already know, which surprised me a lot.
Yeah, Michael Jackson was he sort of transcended pop to the point he was like a fashion icon, and everything sort of at this point. So you couldn't help but be bombarded by. Yeah,
and I remember disliking having it forced upon me.
Yeah,
at age 9, because it was that.
You must listen to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Or you have no choice but to listen to it. On with the show.
But no. The first song is called Bad.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this song. It's ridiculous, I think. I don't know. I can't take it seriously. There are many parodies of this. Not just Weird Al Yankovic. There was many, and they're all hilarious.
I don't necessarily think that just because something's parodied that it's bad.
No,
it just means that it's iconic.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, that means it's good. But the song itself, I find hilarious.
Yeah.
The riff is hilarious. The whole thing about it is funny. And Michael Jackson himself is funny, not intentionally.
No. I think it's sort of a development of the Beat It sort of theme.
Yeah, but compared to Beat It, this is ridiculous, silly 80s blinky bonk. Yeah. Right, moving on, track 2.
The Way You Make Me Feel.
I know this song. Very much of its time, the sound of it, the bong, 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 it sounds like the 80s, and there's a lot of songs use that same patch, keyboard patch. It's really, at this point, I really noticed, it sounds like Genesis from the same time, because he's using the latest technology, which from the perspective of the time would have been great. He used the latest technology. Unfortunately, the latest technology was terrible for music, homogenised and made everything sound the same. It really does sound like Invisible Touch. So by Peter Gabriel as well. I think this is, particularly Sledgehammer, is heavily influenced by Thriller. You can hear that. It's like Peter Gabriel meets Thriller. And again, the sound of this is very similar to Bad, but there's something missing on this album that he did have on those first 2 albums. There's something not there. There's something empty emotionally. I can't explain what it is, but there's nothing there.
It's weird. I find that actually on this album there is something that is there that's more developed than on the other 2 albums, and it's a sort of there's an element of saccharineness, if that's a word, or saccharinity. To the first 2 albums. The sort of the Paul McCartney songs, incredibly sweet, sickly so.
Yeah,
that's not on this album.
Yeah, it is heavier, isn't it? So stylistically, that should be better.
Yeah.
And melodically, I remember the tunes. These are catchy pop tunes. So technically, in every way, it's better. But I can't put my finger on it. There's something wrong. There's something missing. There's a soul that's gone.
Maybe it's a slightly more cynical attitude to things. This is his last album with Quincy Jones. He's obviously not very happy with that relationship. He's writing most of his own material now, so there's 9 out of the 11 songs are written by him. So,
and I think that's made it better.
Yeah,
that has made it better.
Yeah. I think it suggests to me that he's a little bit. He's kind of found his feet. He's willing to trust himself now. Maybe what's missing from this album are sort of other influences, other voices input in on the album.
Maybe if it was recorded in 1977 instead of 1987, it would have been fantastic, because just the sound of it would have been different, and it would have been alive, and trumpets. It needed trumpets and trombones, an orchestra, a real orchestra with strings and a bagpipe player.
Yeah.
Real instruments, and maybe it would have been brilliant. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm talking nonsense.
Yeah. But The Way You Make Me Feel is a sort of an example of what I was saying. Whereas on Thriller and the one before that, Off the Wall, that would have been quite saccharine, and it would have been quite naive.
He couldn't do those light pop songs at that point. Yeah. You're right. Mm-hmm.
And it's not a particularly deep song. It's actually quite shallow, but it's quite.
Well, all of it is shallow, isn't it?
It's a little bit more grown up.
Next song.
Speed Demon.
Horrible 80s keyboard. Boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, bossa nova. Boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Crap.
Yeah.
And yet, obviously at the time I can see how he would have been really pleased with that, using latest technology and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I was
wrong time to do it.
I was never a big fan of Speed Demon, but that made it onto Moonwalker, didn't it? It was quite a...
Oh, you say that like I'd know.
You've never watched Moonwalker?
I've never seen Moonwalker.
Brings us on to
track 4.
Librarian Girl.
You beat me to it. Damn.
Onomatopoeia.
That's all I've got to say.
Yeah.
I know it already.
There's not a lot you can say really. It's quite nice.
It's nice.
Yeah. Actually, it sounds genuinely romantic instead of sort of faux.
Yeah, rather than a sort of teenagery thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Which is quite good.
Yeah. Next song.
Just Good Friends.
Just Good Friends. Completely forgettable song, but when Stevie Wonder's voice comes in, he's such a good singer. He's so much better than Michael Jackson. It sounds so great, the smoothness of his voice. And by this point, Michael Jackson's voice had changed. This is his grown-up voice, I suppose. It's kind of shouty. Maybe it is good.
This is a filler track for me. It's a lot better than any filler that's come before. It's actually worth listening to, and not skipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Next song.
Just Another Part of Me.
Yeah, if you go to Disneyland Paris and it's really busy, there's loads of queues, just go to Captain EO, which is in a corner somewhere, and there's no queues. For it is the Michael Jackson show with 3D glasses. And it's basically Thriller in space.
Which brings us on to Man in the Mirror.
Yeah, Man in the Mirror. I know this song. I mean, I haven't listened carefully to the lyrics here, but it sounds like he's actually singing about something. I'm looking through you by the Beatles, that kind of thing, and his media persona, and maybe is that what it's about?
It's a sort of a call, almost like a call to arms that he's going to step up and do something with his platform that he's generated.
Okay. Right. So slightly less interesting, I thought.
It's actually one of the more boring songs on there, but it is one of the most famous.
Track 8.
I just can't stop loving you.
Music.
Track 9.
Dirty Diner. Is this Dirty Diner?
Yeah.
See, I know this song. Or at least I thought I did. It is a rock song. It's good, but I don't like it. I wish I liked it more. Technically it does everything that's good, but I just didn't enjoy listening to it.
I think it's a sort of
empty 80s-ness.
If you consider sort of baddies are sort of taking all the parts of Thriller and emphasising it.
The good bits.
Yeah, I think this is a sort of the follow-on from Billie Jean.
Yeah.
It's about a sort of slightly dodgy woman, and it is quite good. And we're on the run out from the album here.
Yeah.
I'd have to say these last 3 tracks are all pretty good.
They are.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is a very notorious song, and this is probably as dark as Michael Jackson gets.
Yeah. For a naughty lady.
Yeah.
That's serious stuff. A naughty lady.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Pretty good song.
Yes. The end. Next song.
Smooth Criminal.
Best song on the album, easily. I know this song. This goes along with Beat It. Metally riff, but Michael Jackson R&B vocals and funky bass solo. You know, my memory of this is being at uni in Asda car park at 3 o'clock in the morning, with us all there with the lyrics trying to sing it.
It does sound a little bit dated these days because it is mostly drum machine.
Well, it's the whole album, isn't it?
It had a wicked. The problem with a lot of these songs is a lot of them associated with music videos.
Yes.
And the music video for this one was particularly good, and I think that sort of elevates its status a little bit. But it is a genuinely catchy tune, and it is something that if you stuck on a compilation album for the car or something like that, you'd be quite pleased to hear.
Yeah, I mean.
And this one, it was a bit of a question mark whether to include because I don't think it was on the original release.
Yeah, this was the end of the album,
yeah.
and I expected it to be the end of the album. Listening to it, it did seem to fit logically that was the end of the album. But there's another song, which must have been a single, and they ended up sticking it on the end.
Yeah, which is "Leave Me Alone."
Leave Me Alone. Yeah, catchy pop, and obvious what it's about. The media destroying him, following him around everywhere. Want to leave him alone?
Actually, you say "Smooth Criminal's" the best song on there. I think this is the best song on the album, and I think the reason is because it is obviously something which is genuinely him. It's something he's
saying something
peed off about, and he's saying something about himself, and it's more sort of an artist expressing his frustration, which kind of almost derails what is a pretty good beaty dance song come pop song.
Okay.
So it's a good Michael Jackson song with lyrics that actually mean something.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I think, like track 2, even more so, it really does sound like Genesis at this point, and it's because they're using the same technology, and that's not a good period of Genesis. And so ends the review of Bad. We have nothing to say. Sorry.
Join us next week.
But that'll be the last one of the year, and then we'll have 2 weeks off for something good after that, possibly Bowie.
Yeah. So, until then, toodaloo.
Live long and prosper.